But the snowball sampling is also a non-probability sampling method, but it's a random sampling method. This one is executed when your participants are very hard to reach. You can't get them easily, so you resort to snowball sampling. But all my participants were recruited based on the purposive sampling. So the snowball sampling was just here as a backup, just in case I couldn't get my participants, then I would have to default to that. Validity. Validity is the degree to which an instrument measures what it's supposed to measure. So during the research, I use three methods. We have member checking, where you interview the participants and then the transcripts are sent to the participants so that you can be able to verify and yes, or validate that the information you have on my transcript is exactly what I said, because you do not want to skew the interpretation of the results by putting in something that is not acceptable. So transcripts were sent out for validation, peer review, the use of the second coder to establish credibility was used. And my second coder is watching live, Dr. Adu. Thank you so much. Yeah. And then clarifying the researcher bias. Like I said, the process of bracketing was used. Since I'm diabetic, type 2, I had to bracket myself from the research and go according with the findings of the participant, whatever the participant said, and do not bring my personal emotions into this. So for reliability, reliability is enhanced by taking field notes, and transcribing audio recording. But to enhance reliability here, the strategy of consistency was used. This is where you have consistent administration of the instrument across all study participants. So what was done with participant 1 was done with participant 2 until you get to participant 12.
One thing.
Yeah.
So you're in your sample that you have of 12 participants. Thank you for having a nice distribution among the genders. That was awesome to see. My question goes back to something earlier, and it's the idea in the recruitment process, because I read your work through, of the 12 people, one of the criteria is they have to have type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
What else? Was there, I mean, you could ask the gender, or was that it? So they basically have said, no, I have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Was that the only criteria for participating?
And you have to be 18 and above.
18 and above.
Okay. Yeah.
And within Twin Cities.
And then will be the Twin Cities. Yes.
Okay.
So 18 above, then will be the Twin Cities and type 2 diabetes.
African.
Other than that, you are outside the bracket.
African.
Yes, African.
Thank you.
All right. And so after collecting data and everything, it brings us to the data analysis process. And I decided to do this way so that it can give you a clear picture of what the process was. So the first thing was recruiting the participants after going through the institutional review board, and then conduct interviews. And then from conducting interviews, you have to convert the audio recordings to transcripts, and then edit the transcripts and send to participants for members checking. And when we say editing transcripts, you want to read the transcript and make sure that things that don't sound right are not in the transcript. Yeah, but even if a participant home, you have to leave that in the transcript because it is what they are saying. Uploaded the edited transcripts and demographics to the invaluable software. Invaluable is a data analysis software, and all so much that I use to be able to upload my transcript and the demographic information. Researcher and second coder created codes from the transcripts in invaluable, and we met at least 4 times. Then we have the cluster codes, where you go in Microsoft Word and create your clustering box and put the different codes and then come up with the teams. And out of that, 6 things emerged from this process. Okay, every research has to go through ethical considerations. This is very important. During this research, the participant received and they signed the consent forms, and then after acknowledging the understanding of the purpose of the nature of the study. So you explain the study to them, explain what the study is all about, and you give them the consent form and they sign it. And then you also have to ensure them that yes, indeed, that confidentiality is going to be high on the agenda because we are doing this in accordance with the rules from the institution that we work with, the institutional review boards, the mirrors, to protect the identity of people. So participants, we use pseudonyms to be able to conceal the identity of the participants. So if somebody was Paul, in the after the interview, that person might be Mike or something else. So that's what pseudonyms we have. These are the 6 things that emerged from the study. African American adults with type 2 diabetes experience complications that weaken their day-to-day activities or their daily activities. African American adults with type 2 diabetes also acknowledge effective strategies for managing their type 2 diabetes. Participant adherence to providers advice determines the effective management of their type 2 diabetes. Participants also learn the warning signs of their blood sugar from their day-to-day experience, and managing type 2 diabetes was influenced by accessibility to insurance and medications. And then the last one was diabetes education, enhance the self-management skills self-management skills and knowledge of people with type of the participants and their condition. So this is the demographics we have here. As you can see, we have participants. We have participants pseudonym right here. So these are the names that was assigned to the participants that were interviewed. And we have the gender, the age group, educational level, and designations. As you can see, we have from associate degrees to master's degree, and we have different designations here, human resource managers, etc., with social work and people in different categories of job line. The findings of the research. So I decided to do it this way so that we can have team 1 this way, team 2, and we can be able to fit it up. So African Americans experience complications that weaken their daily activities. So what were some of those things that weaken their daily activities? One could be causes eye problems, diabetic retinopathy. When you have diabetes retinopathy, your eyes are giving you problems. You cannot do what you're supposed to do. It's going to bother you. Yeah, and then pain in fingers, legs, and other parts of the body. That's diabetic neuropathy. That's pain, severe pain. And then because of that, people are able to work because of the nerve pains. So these are some of the effects from diabetes due to poor control of diabetes that weaken participants' ability to do their normal thing. African American adults with type 2 diabetes acknowledge effective strategies to manage their type 2 diabetes. What are some of those strategies? Counting carbohydrates. Counting carbohydrates is a process where people with diabetes go to the store, they pick up the food, and they look at the packaging of it, and you have to look at the carbohydrate on it and know how much the carbohydrate is. Like if the carbohydrate is 50 grams, and you are looking for 15 grams, you definitely default to the one that's 15 grams so that you can have something with high carbohydrate content. Eating in portions. Eating in portions is eating by piecemeal. You know, you don't sit in one sitting and eat maybe a whole plate of rice. Okay, a whole bowl of rice, like maybe you went to the Chinese buffet and you sit there and you just eat a whole bowl of rice, or you eat, you know. So eating in portions It's something that you learn from the diabetes education class so that you can be able to eat bit by bit so that your blood sugar cannot increase. Staying away from sugary food and drink. People with diabetes learn from diabetes education sessions or classes that they have to stay away from sugary food and drinks. You go to the store and you see a pop with 64 grams of sugar and you want to buy that. But diabetics will have to look for something that says sugar-free drink or something with just natural sugar. Okay, depending on the kind of medication you take, you have to decide on what you want to put in, because when you put it in, it takes time for it to get down. Yeah. And then exercise regularly. Exercise regularly is one thing that we found out from participants that they need to exercise. If you exercise, whether you walk, whether you run, it's going to help with your blood sugar. Okay, and there were some participants who said that on their job, even though they don't have the time to exercise when they get home, but they do a lot of walking on the job. So walking helps them with their blood sugar too.
Do we have voices of the participants?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, after the section,
Okay.
yeah. Participants' level of adherence to providers advice determine effective management of diabetes. So this section is just about following doctor's instructions and keeping up with regular appointments. So there were participants who emphasized that you need to take your appointments seriously. You have to go to your appointments regularly, because if you go to the appointment, that one participant said it's going to be like a puzzle where you and your doctor will sit together and try different things so that you can be able to get to your target numbers. Because with diabetes, it's always about target. The doctor say, okay, our goal is to get to 120, or want your A1C to be 7 or 6.9. You have to work towards that goal. And then keeping up with regular appointments. You have to go to your appointments and you have to take your medication on time. You have to follow the regimen for the medications. And if your doctor wants you to exercise 3 times a week, you have to exercise. So following doctor's instructions was one of those things that participants really stress on. Team 4, participants learn the warning signs of their blood sugar from their day-to-day experience. So what are some of the symptoms of hypoglycemia and low blood sugar? As you can see here, if you are diabetic, according to the participants, some of them feel dizzy, they have headaches, blurred vision, and they feel thirsty, and then frequent urination. They run to the bathroom, like we're sitting here, somebody will go to the bathroom 3-4 times because his blood sugar is high. He has to go in and pee and comes back, and then he drink more water and go and pee and come back, and he's just thirsty all the time. And then for low blood sugar, you start sweating, you feel shaky, you feel anxious, nervous, and you have mood changes, and you also have blurred vision. So the symptoms are very obvious, and across the participants, they all mention similar things like that. Managing type 2 diabetes was influenced by accessibility to health insurance and medications. So according to the participants, health insurance is very important, because if you don't have health insurance, it's going to be very difficult for you to manage your diabetes, because it is through health insurance that you get medications and go to diabetes education class. You won't be able to go to diabetes education class if you do not have insurance. So that's what this theme was about. Diabetes education enhances self-management skills and knowledge of participating condition. So after attending diabetes education classes, the participants said that most of them were able to learn to manage their blood sugar. Some of them learned to manage their blood sugar regularly, monitoring it, checking their meters, or whether they are on insulin pump. But no matter what other regimen you are on, you are able to manage your blood sugar and know whether it's high or not. Whether your blood sugar is in the normal range or not, but they are aware that it is high or it's low. and they understand their A1C numbers. Every diabetic or the participants talk about the A1C numbers, and their A1C numbers run from 5.7 to 6.4, and according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, they want your A1C number to be at a specific level, and you have to work towards that. They learn to be self-disciplined. Self-discipline is one of the things some of the participants talk about. You have to be focused. You have to be mindful of what you eat. Even when you are out there attending a wedding, you have to be disciplined. You have to be self-conscious that indeed, that my diabetes, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. Even though it is tempting, but you have to control your cravings. Knowing when to exercise and eating in portions were also two other things that participants emphasize about. Now, here are some of the quotes from the participants. Honor Team 1. Paul narrated, if your sugar level continues to run too high, it will lead to amputation and depression. If you do not manage your diabetes, it will affect your liver and kidney. It is very important to manage your sugar level. That's Paul. And then Patricia said, I take atorvastatin for my high cholesterol because it has been running high for a very long time. It is because of my high numbers that my doctors put me on atorvastatin. Patrick said my cholesterol used to be so high, but after my recent visit with my primary care provider, the laboratory result proves that my cholesterol poses no risk for heart attack or stroke. And then Jerry said, the doctor is concerned about my eyes. So every year I check my eyes. I'm going to go this year to check my eyes. Also, I use glasses but just for reading. And then on Team 2, when they talk about the effective strategies, Julius mentioned, I went through a diabetes education class and they told me how much carbohydrates I'm supposed to eat when I eat rice, bread, and stuff like that. Rena stated, where I learned how to control carbohydrates, eat less carbohydrates, eat more protein, and exercise. So as you can see, most of the participants are still focusing on those things that they learned from diabetes education class, and they are emphasizing them. Paul said, so what I learned from my diabetes class is that you can eat rice. I used to eat 3 scoops of rice. Now what I do is I take 1.5 scoops of rice and add a lot of vegetables to the plate. And then Watson explained, yes, like I said, to manage diabetes is to be able to stop late eating, watch the diet, cut down on too many carbohydrates, and then exercise. And Antoinette said, I have stayed away from soda and other fruit juices because if I drink the juice excessively, the next day I will experience a yeast infection, and that can be very irritating and if you are not careful. So honor the participants' adherence to providers' advice. Corey explained, I'm following all necessary precautions so I don't get to the stage or to that level of diabetes complications. I'm doing everything necessary that needs to be done. I try